Tonight, $1 billion baby, free childcare for working parents to give them financial certainty and save the sector from certain collapse. South Australia's virus hotspots revealed as the government fast-tracks an upgrade to the state's busiest emergency department. Looters put on notice that harsher penalties could be brought in if they prey on businesses closed for the pandemic. And creature comforts in an uncertain world, the record number of people turning to pet adoption.
This is 10 News First Adelaide with Rebecca Morse.
Good evening. Childcare will be free for working families in a $1.6 billion move to ease household stress and save the sector from collapse. The scheme starts Sunday and crucially is designed to prompt parents who've already pulled their kids out of care to re-enrol.
The Morrison government is ripping up the rule book.
We'll be moving to a different childcare system.
And so from Sunday night,
it will be free.
The $1.6 billion package will help prop up the sector, which is reeling from a March mass exodus.
We are already seeing a number of childcare providers starting to shut their doors or go to extraordinary measures.
Those centres that have closed, they will have to reopen again so that they can get this assistance.
Music to the ears of almost 1 million Aussie families.
The existing means testing arrangements are no longer in place. We want everyone to be able to access care who is working during this 6-month pandemic.
Priority will be given to pre-existing enrolments and workers in critical jobs.
It's not just the doctors or the nurses who are at the hospitals, it's the cleaners at the hospitals as well. It's the people driving trucks to get food out to supermarkets.
And those most vulnerable.
I don't want a parent to have to choose between feeding their kids and having their kids looked after. I won't cop a situation where a parent is put in that place with their kids.
So how will it work and what should parents do next?
We're going to be asking all childcare facilities to be finalising all their existing fees and getting them into the system currently this week. And as of Sunday night, we'll be turning that off and then we'll be making fortnightly payments to centres directly.
The government will also waive the gap fee for parents back to March 23rd, and it's urging families to start re-enrolling their children.
In Australia, without any childcare centres, how would their parents go to work? And how would we ever get this economy to kickstart again at the end of it? They are vitally important.
The sector has been pleading for a bailout package for weeks, with the nation's 13,000 centres struggling to remain viable. But the government says it's taken time to turn the system on its head and make sure it works.
The old system is quite a complex system. It was drafted for a pre-pandemic time.
And the PM has pledged more support is on the way. Tegan George for 10 News First.
SA Health has promised to continually update new heat maps showing where South Australians who've been diagnosed with coronavirus are living. We're going to take you through them now. They're divided by council area and the worst affected so far has been the city of Mitcham. Within the range of 25 to 29 cases are the cities of Marion and Charles Sturt, while to the north and south of the city, Salisbury and Onkaparinga each have up to 24 cases. A breakdown of the types of people contracting the illness shows it's relatively evenly split between men and women, and the median age in our state is 54. A major expansion of the Flinders Emergency Department's been fast-tracked in anticipation of increased demand during the peak of the pandemic. It'll cost the SA taxpayer, but the Premier says there's no time to waste.
In a state of emergency, an upgrade of the state's busiest emergency department will be fast-tracked. Originally scheduled for August, the $45 million expansion of Flinders Medical Centre will now start this month to increase capacity before the peak of coronavirus and the flu.
We need this to be done as quickly as possible.
The ED currently has 57 beds. Another 12 will be added this week, 30 extra in total. Space will be made by shifting services to Noarlunga Hospital and nursing homes. It'll cost taxpayers an extra $2.7 million, but authorities say safety comes first.
And that needs to be done both because of the workload that is there, but because of the need for isolation for some of those patients as they present through our emergency departments.
In stark contrast, emergency departments are closing altogether at Barmera, Karoonda and Tailem Bend because they're attached to aged care facilities.
We don't take this course lightly. We know it will create some inconvenience, but we really do need to continue to follow the strong advice.
South Australians who have tested positive come from areas right across the state, but the concentration is still in the city. Mitcham Council District has the most residents affected, supporting suggestions wealthier suburbs are hardest hit because people can afford to travel.
And what we saw in the early days of infections in South Australia, they were predominantly from people coming back from overseas, in particular from the United States, and that's why we see an elevation in some areas. I think we'll see this normalise as we get further into this disease.
The heat maps, which show all cases, including those who have recovered, will be updated daily on the SA Health website. Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
A Findon chemist had to close down for cleaning after a worker there was diagnosed. The case at the National Pharmacies outlet is linked to the cluster of cases among Qantas baggage handlers at Adelaide Airport, which now involves 12 baggage handlers and 5 of their close contacts. The pharmacies contacted customers as best as it can, but it assures us that the store is now safe.
Once the testing was confirmed as positive, the team members who had close contact were all sent home in self-isolation. We contacted SA Health, and then we had the store forensically cleaned.
There were 18 new cases in South Australia today, including a student at Henley High, although it's not believed that anyone else at the school has been exposed. Police have launched a new operation to crack down on thieves targeting small businesses at their most vulnerable. Nearly 300 have been broken into in the past fortnight, and the state government isn't ruling out introducing harsher penalties if the looters are caught.
A pandemic that's bringing out the best and worst in humanity. South Australia Police have been forced to act swiftly after a major spike in break-ins on businesses, particularly those that have been forced to shut up shop.
The South Australia Police have started Operation Hurricane to reduce volume crime in South Australia.
Nearly 500 non-residential break-ins reported in March. Joe Palfreman's salon in Blackwood is one of 13 local businesses ransacked by thieves in the past fortnight.
It was just a mess, they jimmied the door open and they just tipped everything up, obviously looking for money.
Other retail strips like Norwood are concerned they could be next.
We obviously have a lot of money product in this store.
The state government says it would be open to a crackdown with tougher laws.
This is not the sort of activity we want to see, quite obviously, and if SAPOL come to us with a recommendation for harsher penalties, we would definitely consider that.
Many of Adelaide's popular shopping strips are now starting to resemble vacant highways, but businesses say the real concern is they don't know how long their doors will be closed.
This could be a month-on-month thing, so the longer we stay closed, the more objective for people to come in and steal our product.
Police are advising business owners to secure locks on all doors and windows, not to leave cash on the premises and to remove posters from windows.
We're all the eyes and ears of our local community. Please keep an eye on your local shops, schools and businesses.
For some, the damage has already been done.
It's devastating, isn't it, really, this time of year? It's like another stab in the back.
Cam Inglis for 10 News First.
The opposition's introducing legislation which would ensure frontline workers who contract COVID-19 could access work cover. Peter Malinauskas says those working in essential services interact with hundreds of people every day and should be offered this protection. Currently, a worker has to prove that they got their illness through work.
What we're seeking to do is to change that burden of proof so that if a worker contracts COVID-19, that is essential, that has to be public facing, that they get presumptive status and can get access to work cover as a result.
That's amazing, and I know that there's a lot of other people that I work with where I know that would be a massive support for us.
The state government says it will consult work cover on the issue. 114 cases in South Australia are now linked to cruise ships, and in New South Wales they've drawn a line. Thousands of crew members are stranded on ships off the coast, and the ships have been ordered to leave Australian waters, but the cruise companies are demanding safe haven.
The ship at the centre of the coronavirus crisis, the Ruby Princess, returns to Port Botany to unload more sick crew as its boss unleashes on the federal government.
It is bitterly disappointing that short-term responses have put an industry, jobs and people at risk.
In a pre-recorded statement, the president of Carnival Cruises let fly over the standoff that's seen cruise ships right along the eastern seaboard, including 3 on the Sunshine Coast, and their thousands of crew members ordered to leave.
We've only wanted the opportunity to take them out of service and keep them and their crew safe until this is all over.
10 News First has obtained a copy of the letter sent by the Border Force Commissioner to cruise ship companies. In it, he says you are required to ensure that your cruise ship leaves, warning if they don't, they face imprisonment for 5 years or $63,000 in fines, or both.
We are provisioning those ships so they'll be able to move on their way, and that's what we'd be encouraging them to do.
We're calling on the federal government to facilitate repatriation for all of these crews, for these ships to be brought alongside Australian ports under controlled conditions, of course.
2 of the ships have now agreed to leave, but for the rest, Border Force has now commissioned a private medical company to chopper doctors out to the ships in the next few days and check how many infections are on board. The company, Aspen Medical, has previously worked deploying medics to disasters, including the Ebola outbreak. Their task now to help bring this standoff to an end. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Still to come, the US claims the world record that nobody wants. The duel in the tennis crown cancelled for the first time since World War II. And a topsy-turvy morning commute.
Cause you're hot, then you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. You're in, then you're out. You're up, then you're down. You're hot, then you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. You're in, then you're out. You're up, then you're down. You're wrong when it's right. It's black and it's white. We fight, we break up. We kiss, we make up. You don't really wanna stay, no. You're hot, then you're cold.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
Did you know you can get crunchy chips from the microwave in 4 minutes?
Did you know there's giants staring right at us?
Oh, giants.
Microwave chips with maximum crunch.
Golden Crunch.
Bird's eye.
Manolo, you're so cold. Come in. What's wrong?
It's dry.
Your scalp might get dry in the winter too. Try Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp Care. It nourishes the scalp and keeps you up to 100% flake-free. Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp Care.
Doc is an emotional intelligence expert. When it comes to value, Doc likes to pay the right price for the right product. That's why he likes Yui. You can tailor your premium so you pay the right price. Yui, you insured.
Head to Macca's fast, contact-free drive-through if you need a little comfort. And get a 100% Aussie beef hamburger for just $1.50. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
When you see a home loan rate this good, you might start to feel just a little more on top of things. Whether you're thinking about refinancing or buying, we're here to help and ready to talk. Search ANZ Home Loans.
If you're a male and frequently visit the bathroom during the night, you're not alone.
Medically diagnosed benign prostatic hypertrophy, also known as enlarged prostate, affects around half of all men by age 60. Caruso's Prostate Ease Max may help relieve mild symptoms of medically diagnosed benign prostatic hypertrophy, including weak urine stream, dribbling and nighttime frequency.
I would never put anything in my products that I wouldn't take myself or give to my family.
Problems with your flow? Give Prostate Ease Max a go.
Ambulance Australia, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Tonight, we check out the Aussie companies doing everything in their power to boost up much-needed medical supplies across the country.
Have we been living with COVID-19 longer than we thought? And how close are we to finding out where it came from?
Maybe, and I don't know. That was rhetorical, sorry. Plus, Adam Hills, Kate Lambrook, and by popular demand, Life in Lockdown.
All that and more coming up on the project at 6:30.
America is the first country in the world to record 200,000 coronavirus infections. Today, the Pentagon announced it was looking at sourcing as many as 100,000 body bags.
At the most overrun hospital in New York, an ambulance arrives every 10 minutes. And that's even after new field hospitals began operating today, such as this one in Central Park. What's worse, though, is that there are only 350 ICU beds left in the city.
This is the most scared I've ever been being an ER doctor.
The governor has shut down all playgrounds because people were still ignoring social distancing.
Who else has to die for you to understand you have a responsibility in this?
In Florida, 21 million residents now don't even have a choice.
I'm going to be doing an executive order today directing all Floridians to limit movement.
Except if they're going to church, allowing this pastor, who was arrested for holding a packed service on Sunday, to keep preaching. Someone else who likes to draw big crowds.
Number one on Facebook. Did you know I was number one on Facebook? And I just found out I'm number one on Facebook.
President Donald Trump has pushed back on claims the government's stockpile of protective gear is almost empty. More supplies are on the way, he says, including from Russia, or states can find their own.
We said, see if you can get it directly from those manufacturers. Make a deal.
Ordinary Americans are doing their bit too. A caravan of 250 volunteer ambulances has arrived in New York.
All I can say is thank you so much.
In the US, rent is usually paid monthly, so for most Americans, it was due today. Here in New York, with millions of people out of work, they estimate that up to 40% of all renters couldn't afford to make today's payment. But with new predictions, 16,000 New Yorkers will die by the end of this crisis. Rent is the last thing on many people's minds. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
The death toll is surging in Europe with more than 30,000 new cases reported. Italy and Spain are still the worst. Those on the front lines say they are doing what they can with little to no supplies to stay safe.
We had to make up a face mask out of A4, clear A4 card, stuck to a hat, to a cap. They were using raincoats and ponchos.
Italy has started using robots to help diagnose patients in an attempt to keep medical staff healthy. Technology designed to find crowds of football hooligans is now being used to enforce social gathering rules. The system has been deployed in several cities in Poland. It scans streets and finds people gathering in violation of the country's new restrictions. Poles can only leave their homes for essential activities and not gather in groups of more than two. Large parts of eastern Spain have been hit by torrential rain and flash flooding. Castellón province is one of the hardest hit, with several towns left under at least a metre of water, and dozens of residents have had to be evacuated. Wimbledon is cancelled for 2020. Players and fans have reacted with sadness, including Serena Williams and Roger Federer on social media. The tournament, held since 1877, has previously only been interrupted by the two world wars.
And what a shame. I mean, I've been coming there every year since '73. I haven't missed one. And, we get this pandemic that just put the whole world to a stop. So, tennis is a luxury, and hopefully we'll get to watch these amazing players play again. But right now it's about staying safe. And
Defending champion Novak Djokovic left, like everyone, to improvise at home. Well, this week the sun isn't rising until about 7:30 as we inch closer to the end of daylight saving, and Kate Freeman is watching it every morning from her place where she's still isolating. Kate, it's been pretty specky.
Well, Beck, even if you're like me and you can only catch it from your backyard, this is the best week of the year to catch a sunrise because you still get a sleep in. This morning it didn't get up until 29 minutes past 7. Our news cameramen were up bright and early and they captured these shots as the sun came up over Adelaide. Last night we challenged you to make the most of this opportunity by getting out of bed to take your own photos. We were sent hundreds and these are just some of them. Some of you took them from your backyard, others used it as a chance to get out of the house to get your daily dose of exercise, a walk on the beach or out with your pets. If you have a weather photo you'd like to share with us, you can join our online community at 10 News First Weather Watchers on Facebook, and you can keep using our social media hashtag SA with Kate. Daylight saving finishes this weekend and that means our mornings will get lighter earlier and our evenings will get darker. On Sunday morning at 3 a.m. our clocks wind back an hour. On the bright side, that means you could get an extra hour of sleep. Well, it's been a lovely day in Adelaide today, even warmer than we expected. It reached 25 degrees in the city, but hopefully you enjoyed it because the change is not too far away. By this time tomorrow, Beck, it should be raining. I'll have the details shortly.
Catch you a bit later on. Thank you, Kate. Next, the latest companies to announce closures as the virus continues to take a major toll on our economy. Out of retirement and onto the front line, the new support called in to help. And the pets proving a powerful antidepressant in times of isolation.
If you've got a story or pictures you want to share with us, you'll find 10 News Adelaide on Facebook and Twitter. And for more throughout your day, head to the 10 Daily website.
Not on my decks. Right. Not on my decks. Oh!
When in lockdown.
Take it easy, though. Social distancing.
It's time to get down.
Down, 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 down.
I can't look at this.
It's your cabin fever reliever.
Stuff this lockdown, staff are moving out.
New Gogglebox, 8:30 tonight on 10.
When it comes to matters concerning motor vehicle injury law, workplace injury compensation and family law, trust DBH to deliver the best outcomes.
Call 1800 324 324. Duncan Bashir Hannon. Don't settle for less.
Get 60 months interest-free now at Harvey Norman and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend using interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card, up to $300. Get what you need now with huge deals across computers, technology, home appliances and entertainment. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend using interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card, up to $300. Hurry, shop in-store or online now at Harvey Norman.
Go! Busy kids have energy to burn. If you want to be sure they're getting the nutrients they need to grow and thrive, shake it up with Pediasure. A delicious Pediasure health shake contains 28 essential vitamins and minerals, plus protein, pre and probiotic and omega-3, which may help support growth, immunity and a healthy appetite. Kids thrive with Pediasure. Also available in ready-to-drink bottles. Chill out this summer with Barnacle Bill's Seafood Chicken and Chill Meal with a bonus Gelista Gelato for only $26.90. Mouth-watering butterfish, prawns, calamari, chicken tenderloins, chips and tartare sauce. All freshly prepared together with a South Australian-made 570ml quality Gelista Gelato. Barnacle Bill's Seafood Chicken and Chill Meal, only $26.90. Serving South Australians sensational value for nearly 50 years.
Fresh from the sea, he's gotta be Barnacle Bill.
If you've smoked cannabis, don't drive for at least 24 hours. Drug drive and you'll get caught long after the high is gone.
Oh, bog day. It's parked. We've got a... Parked!
The powerful Amarok V6 Canyon, now with a 1.99% annual rate.
Get the power of Tyre Power's massive Easter sale.
With a sweet special from Toyo Tyres. Buy 3 selected Toyo passenger car or SUV tyres and get 1 free. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent. Catalogue out now.
The King Living sale is on now. The biggest online sale event featuring the best in Australian furniture design. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can stay home with King Furniture? The King Living sale online on now.
I found my love of food on MasterChef. And now to think that I can help someone else, it means so much.
Escape with us as we take you inside Easter with the Australian Women's Weekly.
Plus, how to give those work-from-home aches and pains the boot.
And Ding Dong is whipping up a weekend surprise from her Gold Coast home. Isolate with us tomorrow on Studio 10.
Hello there. It was another day of hundreds of people joining the unemployment queue as more companies shut up shop today. Almost 50 Freedom Furniture stores in Australia are temporarily closing. Now that's going to impact more than 700 jobs. Blinds retailer Cresta is also standing down around 130 staff as it shuts for at least 4 weeks, while 62 radio rentals outlets will close from tomorrow until further notice. The online versions of the businesses, though, will continue to operate. Meanwhile, the closely watched NAB business survey shows conditions and confidence have been smashed by the coronavirus pandemic. Firms say they're now bracing for big drops in profits, future employment and forward orders. The bulk of the research was done before significant COVID-19 lockdowns, so next quarter's survey won't be pretty. Now, the Bureau of Statistics also released its jobs vacancies research today. Not surprisingly, they're down, but what was more interesting, a plea from the ABS to the Australian community to continue responding to its surveys during this difficult time. It says key economic stats are crucial for monitoring and decision making. Now, having a look at our stock market, it's spent the day in the red, banks among the biggest losers. But what about the share price of ASX-listed childcare providers? Mayfield is up 35% after the government's decision to make childcare free to all essential workers. So having a look at the dollar, it's buying just under 61 US cents today, and it's up against some of the other major currencies. And that's finance.
40,000 retired doctors and nurses are being recruited across the country. Those eligible to return to work could be in service as early as next week.
For weeks, our hospitals have been praying for help. Finally, those prayers have been answered.
We'd like to see people from across Australia taking up the sub-register.
40,000 retired doctors, nurses, midwives and pharmacists will be called back to the front line.
Many of them are quite anxious to do more and try and support this initiative.
Those who meet the criteria will automatically be placed on a sub-register and notified by email. If they are unable to help, they can simply opt out.
If they are worried about putting themselves at risk or they themselves are unwell, then they should seriously think about opting out.
You're also saying to people who've just retired, well, if you come back into the workforce, there is a greater risk for you.
The pandemic sub-register is expected to be in place by Monday. Hospitals will then be able to contact those on the list and have more hands on deck as early as next week. Specialists have also been asked to join the fight. Jeffrey Metz is a gastroenterologist and a professor at Melbourne University, but he's ready for the call-up.
When you are a doctor or a nurse or allied health professional, it's not just a matter of logging on and logging off at the end of the day. And so most people are saying yes, they will be prepared when the tsunami arrives.
His international colleagues are already on the battleground.
Well, we always do Zoom conferences so I can see how they look. They are shattered, they're exhausted.
For nurses not working in a clinical environment, the Australian College of Nursing has offered members a free refresher course.
And it will get those of us that have the expertise to help back into a situation where we can.
More than 3,000 have registered.
It would be a relief for the nurses there to know that there is backup.
But they may also be able to do non-COVID-19 work and free up others to be part of the frontline response to the pandemic.
Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Flu jab drive-thrus are popping up all across town where you can protect yourself while still keeping a safe distance next. Also, a teen who admitted to the ruthless bashing of a schoolgirl vowed to live just a few hundred metres from her victim. And a welcome change of heart on restrictions placed on fertility treatments.
People still know me for the dessert king, but
I just feel a bit nervous because I've got a lot of pressure on my shoulders.
Reynolds, all eyes are on you, my friend.
Hopefully I've done enough. Just need this dessert to be perfect.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
Harvey Norman bigger, better Australian-made mattress sale. Rush in for our $1 size upgrade offer on Sleepmaker and Beautyrest mattresses and ensembles. That's right. Purchase a selected Australian-made Sleepmaker or Beautyrest queen-size mattress or ensemble, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king size. Plus, buy on 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend, the greater the value of the bonus gift card. Hurry, limited time only. $1 size upgrade on Sleepmaker and Beautyrest mattresses and ensembles. Now at Harvey Norman.
How I start each day sets me up for what I want to do in life. Healthy morning habits and a high-protein, nutritious breakfast help me prepare for the day ahead. Sustagen Hospital Formula Active contains the essential vitamins, minerals and quality protein your body needs, so you can stay strong and active and reach your goals. And you know the best thing about healthy morning habits? It's never too late to start.
Yes, it's the first word of any new discovery. Telfast helps you say yes with fast, non-drowsy hay fever allergy relief. Turn a half-hearted yes into an all-in yes. Telfast. Live your life.
What's the difference between sultanas and currants?
I have no idea.
Why don't they just call them dried grapes? I mean, a dried apricot is called a dried apricot. If a currant gets old, is it still currant?
Baker's Delight. Nice and simple.
Time is up. The absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Home Lottery is midnight tonight. Don't miss your chance to live mortgage-free in a Scott Salisbury home at Glenelg with $1 million in the bank. Get your tickets now.
Tyre Power is open for business, helping the essential services and the community. Each Tyre Power family business knows how important trust, reliability and safety are right now. So if you need to be on the road, call Tyre Power on 13 21 91.
Right now at Target, get these Barbie doll sets $19 each, save $6, Dream Camper $79, save $20, and Barbie Dream House $189, save $60 at Target. Offer ends April 26. Products available in selected stores and online, no rain checks.
Red Oak was a small business making electronics predominantly for the trucking sector. We took this risk, backed by Bank SA, and we grew that small company to more than 200 people today in a world-class manufacturing facility.
We've got 200 families here, so we definitely don't want to put that at risk at all.
The bank's always been there for us, and that's given us the confidence to invest more and more in our people and more in South Australia, and know that we can take on the world with that support.
Feed the family with Hungry Jack's new family bundle. Treat yourself with 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 4 small chips, 4 Cokes, 10 nuggets and sauce, only $24.95. Get takeaway, drive-through or delivery at Hungry Jack's.
I'm Tammy Button. I founded My Budget to help people get through difficult times. Now more than ever, we need to consider the best way to manage our money and prepare for the unknown. Call My Budget today for your free phone appointment.
Ambulance Australia, 7:30 tonight on 10.
This is Adelaide's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. A game-changing day for Australian parents. The government announcing free childcare for an estimated 1 million families. The city of Mitcham revealed as having the state's highest concentration of infected residents. And the government considering tougher penalties for thieves who target temporarily closed businesses. Well, if preparing the state for coronavirus cases to peak wasn't enough, we're now seeing the start of what could be a very bad flu season. To help people get in early while still keeping their social distance, some Adelaide GP clinics are starting to offer drive-through vaccinations.
A shot in the arm to give Hills residents a boost for good health this winter.
It was very straightforward. They asked the standard raft of questions.
There's
no waiting, you're just in, out.
Great, 10 out of 10.
Once patients have received their flu vax, they wait in the car for 15 minutes to make sure they don't have a bad reaction.
People are so happy to be able to feel secure in their cars, and so today we've booked 6 per quarter of an hour and we seem to be zinging through them again.
Getting your flu vaccine this year is more important than ever.
The fact that the coronavirus is a virus which can't be vaccinated against shows the terrible burden that we would suffer if we didn't take the opportunity to get vaccinated against diseases like influenza.
It could be fatal with either of those illnesses alone, let alone together.
And if you're over 65, it's best to see your GP so you get a special dose offering extra protection. The 2020 flu season is already shaping up to be dire. By this time of year, during our worst ever flu season in 2017, there were 894 cases. This year, there's already been more than 1,400 people diagnosed with the flu. Most doctors have the vaccine available from this week. Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
Sweeping changes to workplace laws are the next big move to help companies sandbag jobs. More than 100 employment agreements have already been rewritten, and for 2 million workers, it's going to mean some extra pay.
As a Prime Minister, he's dealing with a daily nightmare.
Good afternoon.
As a father and family man, he is inspired right now by the people who shaped him as a boy, and his emotion is obvious.
And I think back to my grandmother and how she lived through the Depression. And I remember as a kid being told stories by my grandmother about what they used to do as a family to get through. And we're doing the same thing in our house.
Of course, Australia got through the Depression, and he says we'll get through this. But there's still a long way to go.
This is getting very, very real for Australians as they continue to adapt and change their daily lives to what it is going to be like for us for many months ahead.
And today, that meant historic changes to workers' rights. The unions and the government have been working hand in hand behind the scenes to rewrite 103 of Australia's 120 industrial awards.
It's probably fair to say that there's been the type of change in 3 weeks inside the award system that you might otherwise wait 30 years to see.
In some workplaces, it means outdated rules have been thrown out the window.
So remarkably, some of the awards were so inflexible that it was actually unlawful to work from home.
Also, from now, 2 million workers will be given an extra 2 weeks unpaid pandemic leave and will be able to take twice as much annual leave, but at half the pay.
Those types of changes are absolutely critical. They would have saved tens of thousands of jobs.
And all of this is on top of $200 billion of measures that Scott Morrison has already announced to try and save jobs and hold together the economy. But it doesn't stop there. Next week, Parliament returns in a surprise move, but for one day only. Why? To try and pass all these new laws to get things moving.
As we need to call the Parliament together, we will, and it'll continue to do its job. No government in our history has moved more quickly to deal with the resourcing needs of the Australian people.
In the meantime, like so many of us, Scott Morrison is taking comfort in his family.
I'm pleased that my family's with me. They've joined me in Canberra, and that's a great comfort to me, and I hope it's a comfort to them.
One of the few reasons to smile right now. Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
The state government has now decided to restore some IVF services banned under new restrictions on elective surgery. As we reported last night, the restrictions had been applied to any fertility procedures other than the implanting of existing embryos. Apart from the stress for couples already engaged in treatment, doctors expressed concern about long-term medical implications for women who were already partway through an IVF cycle. After our story aired, the government changed its mind and determined anyone who has already embarked on an IVF cycle can complete it, and egg harvesting ahead of cancer treatments will also be allowed. South Australians are rushing to bring new friends into isolation with them. The RSPCA has seen a huge jump in the number of adoptions, and some animal companionship could be the perfect way to alleviate the household stress.
Cuddly, cute and a powerful antidepressant for some.
It's great for mental health, it relaxes you, it actually distracts you from what else is going on.
They don't live in the human world of going, you know, you're getting old, you're a bit overweight, you're a this, you're a that kind of thing. They just relate to us as people that are caring for them.
Animal adoptions at the RSPCA are soaring as Australians explore ways to cope with isolation.
There's a simplicity about the relationships that I think is often really calming and settling for people. The other thing that's quite significant about pet relationships is that they can be around when people can't.
In the past 2 weeks, Adelaide's Lonsdale shelter has adopted out more than 600 pets, carefully matching each in its new home.
We have animals that will suit families with children, and we'll have animals that suit a lady that just wants to sit with a cat and read a book.
Because older people are the people who are having to self-isolate most strongly, older people and people with health vulnerabilities. So yes, particularly for those people, it's really important to have company.
But we must also look out for our pets in turn.
Animals can be a great de-stressor for us. Be conscious of watching your animals and trying as well not to put the stress onto them as well.
As usual, any potential adoptive parent is vetted by staff to ensure when this is all over, they don't have a surge in the number of returned animals. Just take a loyalty lesson from man's best friend. Caroline O'Day for 10 News First.
A magistrate has given bail to a 15-year-old girl involved in the serious assault of a defenceless teenager outside a Gillis Plains McDonald's. She'll be living just 1 kilometre from her victim's home.
The 15-year-old was captured on video joining in on the vicious assault of the defenceless 13-year-old in February. Her young victim suffered serious injuries and lost her 2 front teeth. The teens pleaded guilty to the younger student's assault outside the Gillis Plains McDonald's. Today, after spending almost 2 months in youth detention, a magistrate agreed to release the teenager on strict bail conditions, saying he's convinced she's had a change of heart. The court heard her bail address will be just 1 kilometre from where her victim lives. She's awaiting sentence, but current restrictions on court procedures could see that delayed. The magistrate ruling that makes it unfair for her to stay in custody. The magistrate spoke directly to the teen, telling her now's her chance to prove that she has changed and that she's willing to work hard to stay out of trouble. The court heard she has prepared a letter of apology to her victim. She'll live under strict supervision and is not allowed to contact the victim or her co-accused. That 14-year-old co-accused has also pleaded guilty and is also on bail. Kate Summers for 10 News First.
Still ahead of Judgment Day set for George Pell. Also a raft of new charges brought against a man accused of killing 4 young children on their way to get ice cream. And the traded player out to prove Port Adelaide got the best deal.
Don't miss Aussie comic Adam Hills tonight on The Project, 6:30.
Not on my decks. Not on my decks.
When in lockdown,
Take it easy, boys. Social distancing.
it's time to get down.
Down, 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 down.
I can't look at this.
It's your cabin fever reliever.
Stuff this lockdown stuff, I'm moving out.
New Gogglebox, 8:30 tonight on 10.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Drake's would like to assure you that we're working closely with our supplier partners to get stock into stores. We are increasing sanitisation in-store and opening earlier for priority access for our more vulnerable customers.
We really do appreciate your support.
Entertaining outdoors? Too hot in summer? Too wet in winter? Control the seasons and live life your way with Louver House. Order this month and receive LED lighting absolutely free. But hurry, this offer won't last. Louver House.
Each cup of Nescafe Gold starts with our high-quality golden roasted coffee beans. Always deliciously rich and smooth, no matter how you enjoy yours. Nescafe Gold. Taste beyond compare.
Ladies, what's the first thing you take off when you get home? Your bra. Underwire digs, ouch, and back fat from bra straps is embarrassing. Introducing Ceramere, a bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable you won't even know you're wearing a bra. Look and feel Ceramere good from the front, the back, the sides, even the straps. The secret is Ceramere's double conforming lifting straps. The lace strap is a lifting wrap, just criss and cross, to be cradled in comfort and youthfully lifted. Ceramere comes with adjustable support straps, so you get double the support, double the comfort, and double the smoothness, all without underwire. Ceramere gives you 360 degrees of soft, breathable fabric, designed with front and back cooling mesh ventilation, so hot air flows out and fresh air flows in.
I'm literally obsessed with this bra. It is super functional and super comfortable.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing.
I mean, look at it. Love it.
That's a bra that your body is supposed to fit. This is a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Ceramere fits all shapes and supports all sizes. A bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable you won't even know you're wearing a bra. So no more cutting straps, no more poking underwire, and no more unsightly back fat. Call Global Shop Direct or go online to order Ceramere in your choice of black, white or nude for the low price on your screen. Want even more value? Upgrade your order and save with our Value 3-pack. You'll get one black, one white and one nude bra and save an amazing $70. If Ceramere isn't the most comfortable, soft bra you've ever worn, just send it back within 30 days for a full refund of the product price. Finally, a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Order Ceramere today.
As a food writer, I'm always on the hunt for that moment where you take a bite and you just have to put down the cutlery because it's that good.
Ryan Burton has shed some light on what it was like being unexpectedly traded. Speaking to 10 News First, the power defender said when he does get his first rematch with former club Hawthorn, he'll be playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Stuck inside like the rest of his power teammates, Ryan Burton today reflected on the surprise move that brought him home in late 2018.
I've learned from everything that contracts don't really mean a whole heap in terms of where you might be the next year and I guess how much the club values you and things like that. So, yeah, I guess I've learned from the experience and come out on the other side better.
Burton was in Las Vegas when his name came up in Chad Wingard trade talks. He's not bitter about the unexpected move, but he does want to prove Port Adelaide got the best of the deal.
Anyone who's in my situation has probably felt the same. You want to prove people wrong. You want to, I guess, prove the team wrong that got rid of you. I guess it's just natural to play a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, especially against that side.
His 2020 campaign started well.
Made him wait for it. Burton sold them beautifully and Ebert in the pocket.
The extended layoff isn't ideal though.
Well, I haven't got a treadmill or anything, so I've been doing a bit of cardio just on my bike, just on a trainer.
And the 23-year-old is chuffed he beat the rush for home gym gear a few weeks back.
Lashed out a bit and made sure I got myself a nice home gym because who knows how long we're going to be here for. So, yeah, I spent a bit and got the club to help me out a bit, dropping a bit of gear off.
Burton has to keep his reconstructed knee ready for anything and maintain the hamstrings he injured last year. Although he does have a new strategy for chasing Charlie Cameron.
When they get in front of me towards the goals, I might just let them go. So Ken's giving me the licence just to stick my hand up and say, you got that one.
Max Burford for 10 News First.
Australian and New Zealand travellers who were in Nepal when the pandemic began have arrived on home soil. 257 of them now quarantined in hotels.
They'd travelled to a region forming part of what's known as the roof of the world, but found themselves caught in the peak of a global pandemic. 257 Australian and New Zealand citizens boarded what could be the last homebound flight from Nepal for some time.
Community, we had a bunch in Lukla, so up and trekking in the Everest region. We had a contingent in Pokhara, so it was just a matter of working with local authorities so we can either fly or bus them back to Kathmandu so they could catch the flight.
The Nepal Airlines flight, tasked after negotiations and planning by the Australian government, touched down just before midday in Brisbane, greeting passengers, barriers, troops and masked federal police, funneling arrivals to a fleet of waiting buses.
They are being processed, they are being put through the process of understanding who they are, whether they have an exemption to come back into Queensland or not.
Repatriated, but only as far as the confines of first a slow-moving convoy, then a city hotel for a mandatory fortnight quarantined, no matter their home states or countries. Return journeys weren't free, costing around $3,000.
It was kind of a self-funded chartered flight because there's no flights coming in otherwise or going out.
While some didn't stump up for the flight, most reluctantly shortened their holidays and bank balances. Those who stay behind have no guarantee of another way out.
And our advice to them is just to find a safe place and settle.
In a country, like many, that fears it doesn't have the capacity to deal with a widespread outbreak. Chris Campy for 10 News First.
We're expecting Adelaide's wettest weather in 2 months. Kate Freeban's up next to tell us when it will hit. The Anzac charity is battling to survive but refusing to give up the fight. How you'll be asked to answer the call. And the next step in the race to find a vaccine. Trials begin right here in Australia.
Is it time for everyone to back off backpackers? More at 6:30.
I think I tasted some of the best food Australia has to offer. Mind-blowing.
That is flawless.
We're in for one of the best seasons in the history of this competition.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
Come on. Late.
I reckon we'll just make it. Oh. You know what? I'm still feeling it.
Nothing spoils that Toyota value feeling. Get Kluger two-wheel drive GX Auto. Drive away from $42,990. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
At Lendy, we feel everyone deserves to afford their own home. Whether you're looking to upgrade, buy your first home, or refinance your existing home loan, Lendy uses smart technology and smart people who can assist you every step of the way. And we don't charge you a fee. Lendy isn't just a comparison site. It's an online home loan platform that can help you search, choose, and settle your home loan. Because at Lendy, we know you don't want a home loan. You want a home. Oh. Welcome home.
Creating the ultimate memories sometimes means creating the toughest stains. Improved Omo Ultimate is Omo's most powerful laundry liquid. It attacks your tough stains first time and whitens and brightens. Try Omo Ultimate.
Anxious thoughts, restlessness, troubled sleep? Try Ceramind. Ceramind with specially formulated Selexin lavender oil may help relieve the symptoms of mild anxiety. Ceramind, available at your pharmacy.
For a better way to buy garden power tools, go to your local Stihl dealer. They'll familiarise you with the tool and can get it ready to go. Better still, they can service it too, so it'll last for years. Stihl tools, only from Stihl dealers. There's 600 nationally. Find yours at stihl.com.au. Better Stihl.
Tailors of Distinction are having their biggest sale in 25 years. Suits, business wear and all casual wear. 40% off everything in store. First in, best dressed. Starts 30th of March for 4 weeks only. Tailors of Distinction, Unley Road.
Are you working from home? We've got you covered at Cartridge World. Need a home office printer while you're working remotely? We can help. And don't forget to stock up on backup cartridges just in case. Or office supplies and stationery. We've got you covered. We deliver everything your home office needs right to your door. Jump online and order now at cartridgeworld.com.au.
Ambulance Australia, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Power bill relief is on the way for small businesses. Australia's energy network has promised to wipe some charges, potentially offering thousands in savings.
In the post-coronavirus world, everyone is having to adjust. Small business especially.
Can you make up 2 3/4 full lattes, please?
Desperate to make ends meet, Cafe Tre Fontane's owners are now only serving takeaway coffee. And inside, their cafe space has become a makeshift grocery store.
Look, I don't want to stay home and go on unemployment. I want to keep going. We're sort of fighters.
It is bringing in money, but not nearly enough.
We're still struggling to pay the rent and the bills and all the other necessities too. So
to keep the lights on, they're hoping for some energy bill relief. Today, the industry answered, announcing a rebate on network charges for all eligible businesses.
But we estimate for some of these businesses that qualify, they could save up to $1,000 over the next 3 months.
Residential customers won't get that same discount, but suppliers have vowed no one will have their power cut off.
If you are having trouble paying their bill, there are numbers on your power bill for support and hardship provisions. Call those numbers, they will get onto your retailer and figure out ways that you can manage the situation you're in.
With coronavirus forcing more people to work from home and rely on their own internet and power, Energy Networks Australia is also vowing to try to reduce the number and length of blackouts for upgrade works. Instead, they're focusing all efforts on upgrades and maintenance to keep power on at our hospitals. Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
Veterans welfare groups say they're about to cop a huge financial hit from the decision to cancel Anzac Day events. They want the government to keep them going and have appealed to the public to explore new ways to help them survive.
Not even the bravest soldier could save Anzac Day this year.
A whole year's work we've had to put aside, but we can't take the risk. We can't expose people.
The corona cancellation of commemorations has left veteran service charities shell-shocked.
The direct implication of that, of course, is that our major fundraising campaign for the year, from a legacy perspective, is also cancelled.
A direct hit to Legacy's War Chest, which funds care and support for the families of those who've made the ultimate sacrifice.
It's about a $1.4 million hit to this club.
And also in strife, veteran support group Mates for Mates. Its mission statement is to save lives, but now finds itself in its own battle for survival, with the traditional Anzac Day donation surge for RSL sub-branches all but gone.
We're the wonderful beneficiaries of a lot of that work that the sub-branches do in terms of donating directly to us, so I do expect it'll have an impact.
With so many lives literally depending on them, these groups aren't raising the white flag just yet.
But right at the moment, to sustain service delivery, we are calling on the Australian community, the government, to look at what can they do.
And the growing call for everyone to carry the torch at 6 a.m. on April 25th with their own dawn services on driveways or balconies now has RSL support, as well as a motivating ad campaign.
At the going down of the sun.
And in the morning.
We will remember them.
I think it's wonderful. It shows me, and I think it shows all Australians, we own Anzac Day.
So if you're seeing it, like it, share it, get the word out.
The Light Up the Dawn campaign goes online tonight.
Lest we forget.
Tim Collins for 10 News First.
The golf club is emerging as a weapon of choice for our ISO legends this week, and few are hitting them better than Port Adelaide defender Ryan Burton. The trick shot pros are really stepping it up through quarantine. We've shown this American golf coach before in this segment, but his efforts in recent days have been nothing short of ridiculous. If you've got a skill around the house to show off, we want to see it. Send in your video, and just like Ryan, you might be our next ISO legend. To our very own ISO legend now, Kate Freeman. The weather's going to have us all inside practicing those trick shots.
Yeah, Beck, I have to admit I am going a little bit stir crazy. It's now been 11 days at home for me. I'm dying to go for a run, but in terms of the weather, it looks like I might have missed the boat because by this time tomorrow, we're expecting showers, possibly even some thunderstorms, but at the very least, good weather for a Friday night in. Well, last night we challenged you to get up bright and early this morning to watch the sunrise. It is the best week of the year to do it, with daylight saving finishing on the weekend. The sun's not coming up until 7:29. We were sent hundreds of your photos, including this one, which was my favourite, sent in by the team from the Monarto Safari Park, and this one from Samantha Gale at Narracourt. In Adelaide overnight, we had a few light showers. Our low was 12 degrees. Today was slightly warmer than we expected, 25 degrees, nice and sunny in the city, and it's still 23. Around the suburbs today, we had temperatures in the 20s throughout with lots of sunshine. Looking around the state, we had warmer temperatures today with 29 the top in Port Augusta, 27 in Port Pirie, 25 degrees in Clare and 20 in Coober Pedy. It got to 25 degrees through the Barossa, 24 in Renmark, Port Lincoln, Victor Harbour and Keith, and 22 in Narracourt. Interstate, there was a lot of rain over Hobart today with 33 millimetres in the gauge, with matching minimum and maximum temperatures. Brisbane got to 29, Sydney reached 25, Melbourne got to 21, and looking west, 24 was the top in Perth. On the satellite photo, extensive cloud is tracking through the west of our state, and that's with a trough and a vigorous cold front. That will trigger extensive showers and thunderstorms as it crosses South Australia tomorrow, then moves into the eastern states. It will also leave behind the coolest weather we've had all year. Around the country tomorrow, mostly sunny in Perth and Brisbane. Rain will develop in Sydney, with showers increasing for Melbourne. In South Australia, showers and thunderstorms will track across the state as a cold front moves in from the west tomorrow, with maximum temperatures reaching 24 degrees in Maitland and 23 in Ceduna and Clare. It should get to 29 degrees in Renmark, 26 in Keith and 25 in Mount Gambier. Norriutpa's heading for 24 with 21 degrees, the top in Port Lincoln and Kingscote. It will also be windy as that rain moves through, so there's a strong wind warning for metro waters, the Gulfs, Investigator Strait and the West Coast, as well as the central and southeast coast. On local waters, seas will increase to 2 to 3 metres during the afternoon. Around the suburbs, 25 degrees in Elizabeth, 26 in Murray Bridge, 23 degrees in Glenelg and 22 in Mount Barker and Noarlunga. In Adelaide, it's down to 15 degrees overnight. Tomorrow should start partly cloudy, reaching 23 degrees, with showers and that chance of thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and the evening. We're expecting between 5 and 15 millimetres of rain. The wet weather will continue over the weekend. We're expecting another 2 to 6 millimetres on Saturday and a few showers on Sunday too. We're expecting our coolest weather all year, with temperatures staying in the teens, but then it clears up and warms up a little next week. More on the weather later in the bulletin.
Historic free childcare is the latest big move to nurse household finances through the pandemic crisis. We'll take you through the details and the cost. Plus, 2 more Adelaide schools shut down by positive tests. And exclusive, a special police squad formed to combat local looting. Canberra's COVID cash splash has today extended to the families of young children and the nation's unionised workforce. Free childcare and extra weeks of pay, both on the handout list.
The nation's childcare system has never seen anything like it.
It will be free.
Teetering on the edge of collapse from COVID-19, the industry has been propped up by a $1.6 billion rescue package.
The existing means testing arrangements are no longer in place. We want everyone to be able to access care who is working during this 6-month pandemic.
Priority will be given to pre-existing enrolments and workers in essential jobs.
It's not just the doctors or the nurses who are at the hospitals, it's the cleaners at the hospitals as well. It's the people driving trucks to get food out to supermarkets.
The government will also waive the gap fee for parents, backdated to March 23. The changes will start from Sunday.
I think this is fair to the parents, the staff, to the providers, and I think it's something that is really going to keep centres afloat.
The federal government has also announced historic changes to workers' rights. It's been working hand in hand with unions behind the scenes to rewrite 103 of Australia's 120 industrial awards. 2 million workers will be given an extra 2 weeks unpaid pandemic leave and will be able to take twice as much annual leave, but at half the pay. And all of this is on top of $200 billion of measures that Scott Morrison has already announced to try and save jobs and hold together the economy. Historic changes in unprecedented times. Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
SA Health has finally released COVID-19 heat maps, which show wealthy inner southern suburbs have the highest number of infected residents. As it braces for hospital demand to peak, the state government's announced an urgent expansion of our biggest emergency department.
385 people have tested positive in South Australia, and this is where they are. Most live in the Mitcham Council area, followed by Charles Sturt. The long-awaited heat maps supporting suggestions the virus first strikes the wealthy who can afford overseas trips and cruises.
I think we'll see this normalise as we get further into this disease.
Our Chief Public Health Officer says there's no need for local residents to panic.
And we want to make sure that people are informed about the numbers in South Australia and the distribution. Please just follow our advice in terms of who needs to be tested.
SA cases have been split relatively evenly between males and females, ranging in age from 8 months to 85 years old. The median age is 54. With the oncoming flu season expected to also prompt a surge in coronavirus, the state government is starting work on the $45 million upgrade of the Flinders Medical Centre Emergency Department 4 months early, increasing bed capacity from 57 to 87.
And that needs to be done both because of the workload that is there, but because of the need for isolation for some of those patients as they present through our emergency departments.
But 3 regional EDs will be shut down as a safety precaution because they're co-located with aged care facilities.
We don't take this course lightly. We know it will create some inconvenience, but we really do need to continue to follow the strong advice.
Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
There's just one day of public school to go, but Alan Murrell, 2 campuses have had to close early.
That's right, Beck. Henley High is the latest school to have to close. It was informed at 1 o'clock this afternoon that a student had tested positive today. That teen is one of 18 new cases in South Australia. Students were told at the end of a lunch break, parents were contacted. The students either sent home if that was appropriate or parents then picked them up. The cleaners arrived here late this afternoon to begin examining the site, but it will take at least 24 hours to sanitise the grounds. So for students at Henley, that is effectively the end of the term.
No school exposure is that we're aware of at this time. So the importance of closing the school is that our team can do the contact tracing more effectively because obviously when you've got students at school, it is more difficult to then be able to contact the parents. So that's the reason for doing it.
Also closed today, Pennington Primary and Early Learning Centre. They learned late yesterday that a staff member had tested positive. Parents were contacted immediately. The school did not resume today. They too will be closed for basically tomorrow and therefore the rest of the term. Renmark North, they're still looking at whether that school will reopen tomorrow. Either way, for the entire school system, tomorrow will be the last day of the school term. 4 pupil-free days brought forward before Easter. Schools at this stage intend to resume activities for term 2, but there will be an awful lot of online and remote teaching going on when that resumes. Beck.
Thank you, Alan. The widespread shutdown of retail strips across Adelaide has spawned an ugly side to human behaviour with a sudden increase in break-ins. There were almost 500 last month, prompting the launch of a new targeted police operation dubbed Hurricane. Victims already struggling in business have been devastated by the double blow.
It was just a mess, they jimmied the door open and they just tipped everything up, obviously looking for money. It's like another stab in the back.
The Police Minister says he'll consider introducing tougher penalties if that's what the Commissioner recommends. The first plane load of 160 million in medical supplies bought by mining magnate Andrew Twiggy Forrest touched down at Perth Airport last night. It's 90 tonnes of protective and ICU equipment from China to be distributed to frontline health workers.
The President of the United States saying a really big deal, press conference, I got 160,000 in. We got over 1 million in.
2 more flights are on the way. Ferrets have been injected with 2 potential vaccines as Australian scientists lead the world in the race to develop one. If they prove successful, the vaccines could be trialled in humans within 3 months.
This is the coalface, the place where science meets one of the world's biggest killers. These researchers have been given 2 potential coronavirus vaccines to test. One is from Oxford University and the other is from an American pharmaceutical company. They will both be trialled on ferrets.
Normally it takes around about 1 to 2 years to get to here, and we've in fact actually shortened this to a short period of a couple of months.
One vaccine is injected, the other is both a nasal spray and an injection.
It is absolutely essential that these vaccines are effective and also that they are safe.
The coronavirus has 3 distinct clusters but is also changing rapidly. The challenge for researchers is to find a vaccine that will work in humans around the world. Ferrets are being used in the trials because the way the virus interacts with their lungs is similar to the way it does in humans. So they've already been given the vaccines and in a few days they'll be exposed to the virus.
That it's very important that we understand what level of immunity is provided to the lungs where this virus replicates.
The science community is working overtime across the globe in a race against a deadly virus that only they can see.
I cannot recall an example of where the world science teams have actually worked together in such harmony to try to solve a problem.
One of the vaccines may progress to human trials before the end of June. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
A delicate rescue operation on Rundle Road near Decateville Terrace this morning when a car hit an island and street sign and flipped onto its side. The driver was trapped inside and treated by paramedics. The MFS was called in to help lift the car, allowing the driver to be freed and taken to hospital. Police are trying to find a driver who dumped a stolen car at Hackham West. The white Jeep was abandoned in Posnan Crescent after it had taken off when police earlier tried to stop the driver just before 2 this afternoon. A search using police dog Zeus failed to find the driver. The car was stolen from Yankalilla last night. The man accused of killing 4 young children and critically injuring another in Sydney's West has been hit with a raft of new charges. It's alleged Samuel Davidson had consumed a cocktail of illicit drugs along with alcohol before the deadly crash.
Samuel Davidson is accused of taking the lives of 4 innocent children. And now police allege he'd consumed much more than just alcohol before getting behind the wheel and ploughing into them. Today, laying an extra 14 charges against him, including driving under the influence of MDMA and cocaine, and running a red light. Davidson was also allegedly drunk and speeding more than 45 kilometres over the limit when his ute mounted the curb and hit the group of 7 children on their way to get ice cream in Oatlands on February 1st. Siblings Anthony, Angelina and Sienna Abdallah died at the scene, alongside their cousin Veronique Saker. Another cousin was critically injured. Their families chose not to attend Davidson's court hearing today, staying in isolation with their remaining children. Instead, releasing a statement saying our trust is in our Australian judicial system and expect the outcome will be in accordance with true justice by the governing laws of this nation, which we love. Adding, we have not changed our position of total forgiveness to the driver of the incident.
Davidson chose not to appear in Parramatta Local Court today as his case was stood over until June. He'll remain behind bars until then.
If he's convicted of all 34 charges, he could stay there for the rest of his life.
Leah Harris for 10 News First.
George Pell will learn his fate in less than a week. The full bench of the High Court will hand down its judgment on Pell's appeal against his conviction next Tuesday. He's serving a minimum 3 years and 8 months jail after being convicted of sexually abusing 2 choir boys. Pell has always denied any wrongdoing. Qantas and its CEO, Alan Joyce, will be investigated by SafeWork over the suspension of an aircraft cleaner who raised concerns about workers being exposed to coronavirus. The employee, a union delegate and trained health and safety representative, was stood down in February. The airline is now facing multiple breaches for discriminatory and prohibited behaviour against the worker. Each breach carries a fine of $500,000. Adelaide United's football director Bruce Jitte says yesterday was his hardest day in the job. All of the club's players and most of the staff were stood down as the ownership tries to keep the Reds afloat financially.
We're not doing well by any stretch of the imagination. Standing down the staff and players was certainly one of my tougher days, that's for sure. The toughest one I've had since I've been in the job, clearly.
The club is helping contracted players access government payments, but after June 1, they won't be available to anyone who doesn't have a deal for next season. Up next, stuck and scared, we speak to Australians in Spain, where the death toll has passed 9,000. And the moment the Earth moved in the US.
Don't miss our family survival guide to coping with conflict while in lockdown. Plus, we chat to Adam Hills. We'll see you tonight at 6:30.
I'm looking for a dongle adapter thingy for monitors and cards.
Like that?
If it's tech you need, we've got it covered. This multifunction inkjet printer, only $294. Or this convertible laptop, just $448.
73% of Australian women don't get enough calcium from their diet alone. Boost calcium absorption with Ostel Vitamin D for strong bones. Have you got the bones to do it?
Shop Harris Scarf's mid-season sale with 40 to 60% off all homewares in Manchester, 30 to 40% off all clothing, footwear and underwear, and 15 to 30% off all electrical. Don't miss out. Exclusions apply. See in-store or online for details.
Meet Rego. He has a knack of popping up when you least expect him.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. So when Rego pops up, remember, choose QBE for CTP.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready now. Get ready. Ready? Set. Jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Get ready.
Because sometimes it's more than just growing pains. Bupa offers an online program to help you manage your mental well-being. Bupa, because life happens. Call today.
We will. Idol, the new fragrance, Lancôme. Play it up with different colour combinations at Carpet Court. Classic roller blinds in apple fizz match with hard floors in white oak. It's a colour play dream. Now with savings in store. Carpet Court. Dream it, style it, live it.
Creating the ultimate memories sometimes means creating the toughest stains.
Improved Omo Ultimate is Omo's most powerful laundry liquid. It attacks your tough stains first time and whitens and brightens. Try Omo Ultimate.
Not on my Dax. Not on my Dax.
When in lockdown,
Take it easy, though. Social distancing.
it's time to get down.
Down, down, down.
I can't look at this.
It's your cabin fever reliever.
Stuff this lockdown stuff, I'm moving out.
New Gogglebox, 8:30 tonight on 10.
Idaho has been hit by its strongest earthquake in decades. The 6.5 magnitude shakes felt across much of the state. This woman was on a Zoom conference call when it hit. She's clearly shocked and then quickly heads for safety. The last time the state was hit by such a strong quake was 1983. Most of Europe is in lockdown, but yet the death toll there still climbs. For Australians in the hardest hit areas, there's no escape. With flights cancelled, they simply have to stay inside, wait and hope they don't get sick.
The doctors and nurses in Spain couldn't be working harder. And still each day is deadlier than the last. 864 lives lost in the last day alone.
If we do get sick, it's a bit of a worry because the hospitals are overloaded.
It's a worrying time. Many Australians abroad can't get home.
If you can lucky enough to find a flight, it's full, or when you get to the airport, it's cancelled.
Others watching their loved ones on the front line, often with too many patients and not enough protective equipment.
We had to make up a face mask out of A4, clear A4 card, stuck to a hat, to a cap. They were using raincoats and ponchos.
Simon Murphy only leaves the house for a weekly shop, but that is helping. Infections in Spain are slowing thanks to the strict lockdown.
I don't know why Aussies have gone, that extreme panic buying to then sort of being very blasé and questioning why do we have to do a lockdown.
Countries are finding new ways of adapting. Robots are now treating patients in Italy. It allows patients to talk to doctors, reducing the risk of infection. Italy has extended its lockdown until after Easter. Authorities here in the UK keep getting asked when the lockdown will end, but it's not an easy question for any country's government to answer. First, they have to get the situation under control, and then there's the fear of a potential deadly second spike in cases when restrictions are eased.
This is a strange, frustrating and often distressing experience when the presence of family and friends is no longer possible.
Prince Charles has recovered from coronavirus and shared this message, clearly missing his family, just like everybody else. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
The situation in America has got so bad that the Vice President has said the country looks like the new Italy. Overnight, it became the first to record 200,000 infections. Almost 5,000 of those have died. The situation is so grim in New York, the governor has closed down public spaces.
Who else has to die for you to understand you have a responsibility in this?
Supplies of masks, gloves and other protection equipment are so low, the US has been forced to take a delivery from Russia. A familiar sound for football fans has been blasting out across Johannesburg to pay tribute to medical staff fighting the virus outbreak there. Vuvuzelas have been dusted off across the city and are being blown at 7 every night. The tribal horns were of course made famous during the 2010 Football World Cup hosted by South Africa. All international matches scheduled for June have been postponed by European football's governing body. That includes the qualifiers for the men's and women's Euro tournaments, but UEFA has refused to call off the Champions League, still hopeful of resuming in July. After the break, Kate Freeman has the details of tomorrow's rain.
I'm doing a Sri Lankan mud crab curry and pineapple curry.
I love it. I had pineapple curry with my honeymoon. It was one of my favourite things.
Oh my God, what have I got myself into? When someone has an expectation of a dish then I've got to surpass that. I'm so sweaty.
Are you happy with what's in front of you?
MasterChef starts 7:30 Eastern Monday on 10.
Play it up with different colour combinations at Carpet Court. Classic roller blinds in apple fizz match with hard floors in white oak. It's a colour play dream. Now with savings in store. Carpet Court. Dream it, style it, live it.
National Pharmacies has immediately implemented the Australian Government Home Medicine Service, a convenient service where people can order their PBS and RPBS prescription medication from home and get it delivered to their doorstep without any charge. This is a temporary but necessary move to limit the spread and exposure to the coronavirus. This service is available at all National Pharmacies stores. Visit nationalpharmacies.com.au to check your eligibility. National Pharmacies, where wonder meets wisdom.
Tic Tac, refresh every little moment.
For a better way to buy garden power tools, go to your local Stihl dealer. They'll familiarise you with the tool and can get it ready to go. Better still, they can service it too, so it'll last for years. Stihl tools, only from Stihl dealers. There's 600 nationally. Find yours at stihl.com.au. Better Stihl.
Head to Macca's fast, contact-free drive-through if you need a little comfort. And get a 100% Aussie beef hamburger for just $1.50. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
Meet the Roots family, a family with a serious root problem.
Roots?
And a magic solution.
Let me show you something.
Magic Retouch by L'Oreal Paris. 3 seconds to flawless roots. 3, 2, 1.
Done.
Magic Retouch by L'Oreal, because you're worth it.
Portside Mitsubishi's huge demo sale is on now. Drive away in an ASX ES Auto now $24,990. Eclipse Cross Black Edition Auto now $28,990. Drive away. Huge demo savings continue. Triton GLX 4x4 Auto now $33,990. Drive away. Triton GLS Auto now $41,990. Drive away. And Pajero GLX Auto now $46,990. Drive away. So don't go anywhere. Don't buy anything. Don't sign anything until you've checked out Portside Mitsubishi.
Woke up this morning, I suddenly realized we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all in this together.
When you belong to a super fund that's run to benefit you, and only you, you're in good hands. Choose a super fund with this symbol.
Up next, could we have all been living with COVID-19 for much longer than we originally thought? The Aussie companies putting their hands up to provide much-needed medical supplies. Check out our family survival guide to dealing with conflict in lockdown. Plus, we catch up with one of Australia's favourite comedians, Adam Hills. The Project next.
COVID-19, navigating the new world we live in that's changing by the minute.
For those parents who are still in that position where they are needing that childcare, it will be free.
News, information and advice you can trust.
We can change the way we live, but it doesn't change who we are.
10 News First, nightly at 5.
The sun's been shining in Adelaide today. Kate Freven is nearing the end of isolation. You're going to be spending the last few days in the yard?
Yeah, Beck, I've got my day all planned out. I'll be getting my sunshine in nice and early because by this time tomorrow, it'll be very likely raining, and that is ahead of a wet weekend. Well, today, if you looked outside, you might have spotted smoke over the Adelaide hills and the city. Burn-off season is pushing on across the state, so this smoke was from a prescribed burn at the Belair National Park. Tonight's weather photos captured one of this week's glorious sunrises. It's our last week of daylight saving, so the sun isn't coming up until 7:29. If you don't often see one, it's a really good chance to catch it while still getting a semi-sleep in. In Adelaide overnight, our low was 12 degrees and today was even warmer than we expected. Sunny and 25, and currently it's 22 in the city. On the satellite photo, we have extensive cloud that is tracking through the west of South Australia. That's with a trough and a vigorous cold front, and that'll trigger extensive showers and thunderstorms as it crosses our state tomorrow. Around the country, rain will develop in Sydney, with showers increasing in Melbourne too. In South Australia, the showers and thunderstorms will track across the state as the cold front moves in from the west, with temperatures reaching 24 degrees in Maitland and 23 in Clare. It should get to 29 in Renmark, 23 degrees in Victor Harbour and 21 in Port Lincoln and Kingscote. It'll also be windy as that rain moves through, so there's a strong wind warning for Metro Waters, the Gulfs, Investigator Strait and the West Coasts, as well as the central and southeast coast. On local waters, seas will increase to 2 to 3 metres. Around the suburbs, the showers will develop late in the day, while in Adelaide, down to 15 degrees overnight. Tomorrow will start partly cloudy and 23, with showers and a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon and the evening. We're expecting between 5 and 15 millimetres of rain, and that wet weather will continue over the weekend. We're expecting another 2 to 6 millimetres on Saturday and a few showers on Sunday, and our coolest weather all year, with temperatures staying in the teens. Then it clears up and warms up a little next week. Enjoy your night. I'll catch you for the last time here on my porch tomorrow.
Thank you, Kate. Enjoy your evening. Take care. Good night.
Tonight, could we have been living